Hey, all, welcome to my channel. If you are familiar with my channel and are aware of my channel, it's basically to a point where I made a resolution for the new year for at least once a week, a minimum of once a week, I would do a live stream. So today I'm going to discuss a little bit. I mean, it's Monday, so I figured why not. The Grand Prix results, the British Grand Prix. Um, it wasn't a surprise for Max Verstappen winning. That wasn't a surprise. I'd love to. Also, by the way, I would love to post up some videos or clips of the race results and the race itself, and some intricate parts of the race. Actually, unfortunately, every time I posted up a clip, wherever I got the clip from, YouTube would mark it, put it off as a copyright, and then basically block it off. So I can't do that. So I'll have to describe it, unfortunately, in this case. Um, it was already known. I mean, based on qualifying that with the fact that Max Verstappen was in pole position, pretty much he was going to win the race. Unless it was for him to lose, basically. Honestly, right now, as I mentioned in all my other videos you've seen, it's one of those things where Max is pretty much going to win this. I wouldn't be surprised if uh, well, basically put it this way, it's his championship to lose, or him and Red Bull basically, because Red Bull by far also with the Constructors Cup, they're pretty much going to win this as well too. The only way they don't win the Constructors Cup is somehow Checo Sergio Perez somehow does not finish the remaining races. Even still, and if somehow Max finishes third at best for the remaining races, it's pretty much a lock for Max as well as for Red Bull at this point. I think it's a clear runaway winner. They're a clear runaway winner. But one of the things that was a surprise was how McLaren were starting off at number 2 and number 3 positions. It was pretty impressive in that situation, and that was a little surprising. The other surprising part was how they were able to rectify a lot of the issues that they've had, and are now the they've rectified and made some upgrades. Put it that way. But the question is, it's like, will those upgrades last? I mean, one of the things is basically after what's his name again? After I forgot his name. I'm looking up very quickly. Oh, I forgot his name now. The chief engineer, basically, James Key, the technical director. James Key left. That's what his name, James Key. When he left, seems things are going up a little bit now for McLaren. But the one thing is, though, is can they last? I mean, the fact that Lando Norris, he was a really good driver. Piastri was a little bit, or Piastri was a little bit surprising actually. Oscar, I didn't see him immediately jump up so quickly like that. But Piastri was impressive to the point where McLaren finished 2 and 4. Now, granted, it could have been finished. They could have finished 2 and 3, but of course, during the safety car around lap 30, around lap 40 basically, or 38, something like that. I can't remember the exact lap. Um, Due to those unfortunate incident, before it was a virtual safety car, and then it turned to an actual safety car, that you know Hamilton shows how impressive he is. Was able to go from get into the third spot basically. But the other factor is it was impressive how Lando Norris was able to hold off Hamilton. That was the real shocker. That was, I think, the key highlight of the race itself. Basically, was the fact that it was battling for the number 2 spot. in the podium for the podium, basically between Hamilton and Lando. There were 3 or 4 times where we thought Hamilton was going to overtake him. He was going to overtake him and just didn't. And we were like, what just happened? I don't think it's a case of Hamilton's driving ability. I think it came down to the car itself, quite honestly. I think the car itself and the tires themselves, it showed that the tires going soft at that point was maybe, I don't want to say a mistake, but not the right decision at that moment in time. And hence the reason why he was dropping farther behind. Whereas looking from the perspective of McLaren going hard turned out to be the right move, it seems, which was really surprising. Um, so I think it's because the fact is like, it wasn't as hot as should have been, and the racetrack wasn't as hot that it took them a little while to, like, essentially warm up their tires. But once it did, they became very faster than the soft tires. I mean, the soft tires on Hamilton's car, as well as Russell's car, they were pretty much wearing out at that point. Verstappen had a far insurmountable lead at that point, so he was on soft tires at that point. I think he was okay with it. The one that though was a little surprising was Sergio Perez. He was able to come back from the 11th place, the 11th on the starting grid of 11th to 6th. That was impressive. Which brings you to the point of, I don't think it's the car itself, but it proves how good Checo is as a driver. It's just a question of, like, sometimes Checo can have some mental farts, I want to say, while driving during qualifying that causes these issues where he starts in the back of the grid, but then as as the race progresses, he gets better. It only proves that it's not just the car, but it's also the driver, because the thing is, put it this way, both Pierre Gasly, and Alex Albon, both were in the Red Bull, in the situation of Red Bull, the second seat, and they both could not perform to where Sergio is right now. So it makes you wonder, like, how good Sergio really is, if he could just hone himself a little bit more. I mean, we know how good he is, but if he hones himself a little bit more, it'd be a different story. Which brings me to the other point of, like, kind of wondering, like, where would Bottas be if Bottas was in the Red Bull car? Would he be doing really well? Similar to, maybe Hulkenberg and Nico Hulkenberg and what's his name? Kevin Magnussen. Really good drivers, but they just don't have the right cars. The fact that Hulkenberg and Hulk, basically, nickname, of course, as well as Mags, are able to, in the qualifying, do really well, but of course the car can't last, unfortunately, as a result. Carlos Sainz, you kind of wonder, well, if he never left AlphaTauri, or at the time Dos Toros, Toro Rosso, sorry, Toro Rosso, I'm thinking of Dos Toros, well, you can see where my mind's at, I'm a little bit stuck on food, but, hold on a second. Fortunately, I have to go a little bit, but I will say this. The way Toro Rosso is, I mean, if he never left and never went to McLaren and then to Ferrari, if he'd stayed with McLaren, or if Sainz had stayed with Toro Rosso and promoted to the second seed, he might be a champion, world champion, honestly, for Carlos Sainz. It kind of sucks for that, but that's what it is. But again, I mean, we saw that, Stroll thought he was a good driver. I don't know what happened, but he just dropped down, and now, like, you see Mercedes having practically a 20-point lead now in the constructors. But look for it to happen. Look for them to come back up again. I mean, it depends on how Russell does as well with the remaining season. The real question comes down to is Toto Wolff good? I mean, let's be honest, the guy did inherit that entire infrastructure and just like had to not screw it up. But once the rule changes, it seems like he hasn't adapted. 2 years now, and he still hasn't adapted. So, is he any that good? We know how good all the others are. It's just a question of, is he that, basically? But I'll leave it at that. Again, you're welcome to leave a comment in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you love my channel, love my videos, love my content, again, I ask you to subscribe. If you don't, but you still like to, but still watch my videos, I also ask you to subscribe. And I thank you for those who have subscribed. I probably should talk more about this. Might just create a video instead of a stream at this point. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed. Until next time.